I've been working as an artist now for 21 years, and a number of my artworks that involve the study of the water, the study of the sea. I've got one artwork called Tide, which is an artwork controlled by the gravitational pull of the moon, and it involves glass sculptures that are spinning, and they sing according to the gravitational pull of the moon. And but it's very much inspired by the river. I live in Bristol, which has got the second highest tidal range in the world. And so the water levels are rising huge amounts, 13 meters every 6 meters. So a certain amount of my artwork is inspired by the river and by the sea. That's what I noticed when coming here, is that the Han River is incredibly wide, and I understand you only put a bridge across maybe 100 years ago, and I think it's because it's so wide that it makes it quite difficult for people to cross the river, with a bridge. So before that time, you just had to use a boat, to get from one side to the other. But I think the Han River, a bit like other cities around the world, they're incredibly important sources of life, and they're incredibly important for transportation and connection of goods and industry. And cities are often built on on a river, so they grow from a river. Humanity needs water as a part of our existence, and it's just here. It's brilliant. Yeah, well, I think for every city, for every culture, it's important to provide the public with parks and access to nature, and I think we need it as humanity, that we need parks and we need access to large expanses and beautiful views, and we sort of need it for our humanity almost. I think if you take out the parks and the rivers from cities, you're not left with much. It's important to protect these parks and keep them, and to prevent them being developed. I think a certain amount of development on the city is important. Right on the river is a very nice thing to have. But it's an amazing asset to have this park right here on the edge of the river here in Seoul. So I'd be very tempted to keep hold of it as long as you can. So the Han River Pavilion is very much an event space designed to hold performances and cinema events, and so it's designed to be animated both by the public and this program of events. When you look at the artwork, it'll be beautiful in many respects, and I'm looking forward to seeing it change in the different times of day with the different lighting levels. But I think it's an artwork that will very much be animated, and that will come alive with the presence of the public, who will be peering through the holes and walking down the corridors and exploring the space. So I'm really excited about this new artwork. I suppose that a number of my art projects, they don't really exist without the presence of the public. So in Bristol, I converted the High Street, which is a very steep street, into a water slide to allow the public to go down it, and it was an amazing experience. But really, we had 30,000 people who turned up to watch people go down the giant water slide. It was 100 meters long, and it it brought that area to life. But really, it wouldn't have existed without the public. It needed an audience, and it needed the public to go on the water slide for it to happen. Otherwise, it would just be some water and a strip of plastic. And I think my street piano project is a bit like that as well. So I'm known around the world for putting pianos that are decorated by artists in pianos on the street for people to play. And the pianos act as a blank canvas for the public's creativity. So it needs the pianos need to be brought to life, and they need animating with the public's involvement. And I think the Han River Pavilion is like that as well. The Han River Pavilion is an opportunity for other people to be creative.